Morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September 17, 2025. We're here for a work session. Today we had to change things because of scheduling of people around a little bit, so we're going to close the open session and go into an executive session to discuss the following items. Prior to this, though, can we all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to go into executive session to discuss under personnel matters surrounding changes in status of employees with Hubbard and DIPAOLA. We're going to discuss matters under litigation surrounding litigation with URT. That'll be with Howard, TENNENBERG, Lipinsky, and Brown. Legal matters surrounding the sale of real property with KERN, MERRIFIELD, Thomas, and HURLEY. And we have, under contractual, we have matters surrounding Inter-Municipal agreement with the town of Brookhaven, and that will be with Howard, HURLEY, and Dillingham. So at this time, we anticipate being back somewhere around 11:30. So we're going to close the open session and go up into executive. Then we'll come back down and open up the open session, like I said, approximately around 11:30. So can I have a motion to close the open session and go into executive session?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, open session is closed. We'll see you at approximately 11:30. Welcome back, everybody. We are back from executive session, and we are now going to go to open session of Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 work session. So we are now back open. And first up on our discussion today for open session is matters surrounding possible changes to Chapter 301-3 and 301-208 related to golf cottages, and that will be Greg Bergman, with your senior planner, if you would please come up.
Morning, everybody. So what we have worked on, there was a recommendation in the comp plan. We're always looking for ways to increase the use of TDRs. One of the recommendations in the comprehensive plan was the potential use of golf cottages, which the comp plan said a permitted accessory use to a golf course intended to provide convenient transient lodging options for golfers or visitors wishing to stay on the golf course. I sort of expanded upon that a little bit. Golf cottages are not to be used for long-term housing. Golf cottages shall be limited to one bedroom, kitchenette, and bathroom facilities. Golf cottages are not to exceed 600 square feet of gross floor area per unit and shall be limited to one per hole for a maximum of 18 cottages per standard golf course. I did a little bit of cleaning up in the definition of a standard golf course just to clarify that right now the code says standard golf courses have a minimum par of 70 and a minimum of 6,000 yards as measured from the middle tees and are no less than 125 acres. Just clarifying that, just to say standard golf courses have 18 holes and may include a clubhouse and golf cottages as accessory uses. Standard golf courses have a minimum size of no less than 125 acres.
They certainly seem a lot bigger than that when I play.
Yeah. So in terms of the TDRs, right now in our zoning code, the Residence A80 zoning use district is already listed as a receiving district. So I put in a code change to the 301-208A, which is pertaining to the RA80 zoning district, saying that preservation credits may also be used for the development of golf cottages as accessory uses to standard golf courses at a rate of one golf cottage per preservation credit redeemed. There would need to be a little additional work. There are golf courses throughout the town in several different zoning use districts. There's one in the RB80 zoning use district. That's the Great Rock Golf Course. There's a few in the APZ. and then there's 2 up in the Residence A80 zoning district. You've got the Banning Hollow Club and Friars Head are in RA80. In order to make other zoning use districts receiving districts, you need to do a GEIS, so that's a little bit more of an undertaking than just a amendment to an existing receiving district. The end result is, so right now, the two golf courses that are in the RA80 zoning district would be the Banning Hollow Club and Friars Head. So with the adoption of these, if they wish, they could come in for a site plan application.
Great Rock was allowed too?
So I looked at it, Great Rock is actually in Residence B80. So that is not currently a receiving district. That would require a little bit of additional study. This would be an easily implemented code revision, whereas making those other zoning use districts receiving districts requires a generic environmental impact statement. The end result is, under this proposed code, there would be 2 eligible properties that could potentially come in for applications. You'd see no more than 18 golf cottages per hole. You'd be talking about a total, if those 2 golf courses came in and wanted to develop that, you could potentially be looking at 36 units. Again, that would result in 36 acres of preserved land. And again, very minimal when you look at Friars Head. Friars Head is about 350 acres. Based on the size limitations, if they wanted to come in and do 18 golf cottages, you'd be looking at 11,000 square feet of floor area on a 350 acre parcel is nothing.
Right.
So
Well, they already have 2.
they do have 3. There's 3.
Oh, 3.
Again, I haven't looked. I've never looked at the approvals, but yeah, there are what look like to be 3, cottage type units up on the bluff in Friars Head.
Like mini mansions.
Yeah. So I'm in full support of this because that's what the farmers have been continuously asking, is to be able to sell TDRs, you know what I mean? So that's a big plus, because that's gonna put developers in a position of directly spending TDRs for this. My one question is, I just my own personal use, going to places, Savonic and things, letting stuff out of town or whatever like that. I don't know why we're specifically limiting it to 1 bedroom in terms of the design. I don't really think it makes a difference. If you have a foursome and you have 4 people coming in to play, you might have 2 double beds and 2 rooms or something like that. I don't see that it's necessary to say that this can only be a 1 bedroom. I think however they want to lay it out. But I do also think that with ADA compliances and putting in, potentially 2 bedrooms, a little kitchenette, a gathering area, I think 600 square feet is a little too small. So I kind of want to strike out the 1 bedroom, and I'd like to up the square foot.
So these were the thought for a golf stay is somewhat individual, or maybe 2 people going out to stay at a golf cottage. These were not meant to substitute and become hotel rooms. I mean, so the average hotel room, I just did a little quick search. The average hotel room is about 300 to 400 square feet. So I mean, even going to 600 square feet is well in excess of a standard hotel room. These were not meant to be large, residential type units. They were meant for short stays. You got a couple of friends that want to come out. You got a bachelor party. You go out, you rent a couple of units. You stay on the golf course. You have a weekend out east. These were not meant to substitute for a hotel or a type stay.
But you're going in there with luggage and golf clubs and everything else, and you have 4 guys coming in and dropping all this stuff in the room. I don't even...
Or a husband and wife with 2 small children come out, and the wife wants to shop and go to the beach, and the husband's on his golf vacation, and
So, Greg, I've gone on golf trips, right? Usually go with 12 to 16 people. This is never going to cut it. That's where, you're staying in a motel somewhere, and you're going to be all over the place, and then you want to be in a spot where you're all together in a complex, and you'll see them down south. You'll see them in Florida. 600 square feet is not going to do it. And I don't know, I was on the steering committee, I supported this, but I don't know who came up with 600 square feet. To me, I mean, what I would do is 1 story, 1,200 square feet, and I'm going to tell you why. You can get 4 people in there. And however they want to do it, just make a TDR 1,200 square feet. 600 is not doable. I don't even think from an ROI standpoint.
this was the language that was taken directly out of the adopted comprehensive plan. So
Greg, I'm not putting.
This is not Greg Bergman coming up with this. This is the language that,
No, I'm not putting this on you.
If you want to tweak it, I mean, again, we're here to have a discussion if you want to see.
I think we need to go, I'm not putting it on you at all, Greg, because there was a lot of people around the table. But I would say I would be satisfied with 1,200 square feet.
I'm fine with 1,200, but I think you do need to cross out the one bedroom, because I do think that same thing, like,
Yeah.
even the supervisors, you say you have a couple with kids, you want to have 2 bedrooms, and it's like, and the bedroom's got to be ADA compliant size, and so then they can't be these little nooks. You know, you've got to make sure that wheelchair can come through, maneuver around the larger size bathroom, so I would be fine I would agree with Councilman and go 1,200 square feet and strike out the one bedroom. Just let them design it to where you fit. I do want to keep it at 1 story, and I do think that each cottage is specifically 1 TDR. So we're not trying to make 2 cottages into one and downsize it to get, you know what I mean, so that to stay away, I want to sell the TDRs.
But also, Greg, I think about it, they may, but if somebody gets 1,200 square feet yield, right, they might do one at 800, right? One at 1,200.
1 bedroom at 800.
Yeah, because they may do it for doubles, they may do it for, not too many people go single on a golf trip, but I mean, how they distribute the 1,200 square feet is up to them. They have to come in for a site plan.
But each cottage, if they decide to design them at 800 square feet and they say it works, they can do maybe 1 single bedroom, and then the second cottage is a 2 bedroom, but each cottage is 1 TDR.
Right, I'm
Well,
sorry.
not each cottage, each 1,200 square feet, so you have a nexus.
Well, so if someone wants to build an 800 square foot, it's 1 golf cottage per TDR. I mean, I'll stick pretty.
Then I would make it, then I would go to 1,200, because otherwise.
We'll put it to 1,200, but I mean, if someone wants to build an 800 square foot unit versus a 1,200 square foot unit, the TDR.
I'm just looking for a nexus with square feet, and I'll tell you why. Just in, other discussions, and again, I'm not, this is, I'm leaving this out on the table when during the process with the steering committee, we discussed, if somebody has 10 acres of residential, we were going to allow them to build, we were going to go below 1,200 square feet for housing, right? And so then it was units, but it was based on, you're not going to pay per unit, you're going to use we need a square footage number, and they can divvy up the square footage the way they want to divvy it up. But I mean, to say I'm going to pay $80,000 for a 600 square foot unit, and I'm going to pay $80,000 for a 1,200 square foot unit, I'm doing all 1,200, because it just doesn't.
More bang for your buck.
Exactly.
Greg, is there a minimum?
Can we reduce it to square feet? I mean, that's what I'm at, that's what I'm trying to do, Greg. Whether it's in this situation or in other situations, because just like the previous comp plan, when they were doing, 1,500 square feet for commercial, and they sold 6. And the mistake that went on for 20-some odd years was nobody realized that, 1,500 square feet isn't enough. We really got to get up to 25.
So I would just, I'll look at we can put 1,200 square feet, we can strike the 1 bedroom. I just do want to take a look at the health department standards for, again, these would be considered rental units. Wouldn't want to exceed the sanitary flow from a 1,200 square foot, if a TDR equates to whatever, X amount of gallons per day, we shouldn't exceed that. So I'll take a look at that. I mean, if 1,200 falls in that range, we can do that, and we can strike the bedroom count.
Perfect.
I do have a concern about how this is going to affect our hotel industry. I think that if we left it at 600 square feet, that would be the equivalent of almost having a hotel room, and
Or a small suite.
yeah, because
And 600 square feet, I mean, a 600 square foot hotel room could absolutely be designed to be ADA compliant. I mean, you don't need 1,200 square feet to be ADA.
Yeah, but you're talking about a hotel season that is already maxed out. And golf season and hotel season run pretty much concurrent.
This is marketing an entirely new idea. This is the golf course themselves and the clubs bringing people in from Manhattan to stay and play drinking, not leaving the grounds, not having to get in a car and drive or going.
Right.
And being on site, I don't see it affecting the hotels. I mean, this past summer, again, most of the hotels were fully booked. So we had family members coming out and could not get a hotel. So,
I mean, all the studies we've done so far has demonstrated that the demand for hotel on the East End is there. So I mean, again, right now with these proposed, if we
No, I
were
completely
talking,
support it.
if we had 36 additional, I don't want to call them hotel, but if we had 36 additional destination type units where someone could stay out on the East End, I mean that's a quarter of what's probably located in like the Marriott Residence Inn, in 120 or however many rooms they have.
Is there a minimum building square foot in New York State for a home? Minimum square footage?
I don't know if there's minimum building sizes per building code. There are minimum requirements in certain zoning districts that we have for single-family residential, which we may look to remove. Just because, if someone doesn't want to build a 1,500 square foot house, if they wanted to build something smaller,
Right.
to allow that.
Okay.
Greg, I just had a question. It's not like we're going to have a cottage at each hole. How does this get laid out?
So I mean, that would really fall onto each individual site coming in for a site plan. Now, because of the zoning use districts, right now the RA 80 zoning district, the golf course is not a permitted use, so it would also require a special permit from the town board for the expansion of a non-conforming use. So I mean, wherever these potential cottages may be located would be subject to a site plan and a special permit review. So I mean, again, on 350 acre Friars Head or Baiting Hollow Club being 155 acres, these units could surely be constructed where they wouldn't be visible from Sound Avenue. You wouldn't affect the historic corridor.
Would they be like in a cluster? I'm just curious how, or
It
like
really-
stripped one line of them.
It depends on the layout of
Yeah,
the
it
course
depends,
and the land
depends on
that's
the layout or
available.
where a potential, I mean,
I would imagine it would be two or at least multiple ones together for the septic system reason of trying to tie in
bringing
designs.
water, you're not going to run,
Right.
you're not going to run 18 individual services throughout your golf course to bring water to, each unit. So I mean, it would make sense to site them in a common location.
And screen them,
It's gonna be
you know.
parking as well, not way out in the middle of the course.
Is there a requirement of how many acres? It says right here.
Well, so, a golf course, right now, standard golf course is, no less than 125 acres,
Yeah.
which those two golf courses that I mentioned are well in excess of the 125. So at that point, it would just be really subject to, a site plan, picking an appropriate location, making sure.
How does it work eventually down the road if we wanted to include, basically, give it as a right to all golf courses? What's overall the difference in terms of the zoning?
You'd have to make, so right now, because golf courses aren't a permitted use in the RA 80 zoning district, golf course would have to be made a permitted use, which means you could potentially see new golf, again, not that a new golf course may open up, but you would have to make that a permitted use in order to remove the special permit.
Is that where all the remaining golf courses are, RA 80?
So you've got Cherry Creek, those are in
National?
Yeah, so south of Sound Avenue, between Middle Road and Sound Avenue is the APZ. You've got a few, the Long Island National Golf Course, Cherry Creek, those are in the APZ. The Great Rock Golf Course is in the Residence B80 zoning districts. I mean, I don't think you necessarily want to bring golf courses as a permitted use in the APZ. I think you'd see farmland be converted to a golf course potentially, so that's not necessarily a desirable path.
Beats, residential.
I think this is a good step to move this forward, and I think this also could potentially lead into, we did have the Agriculture Advisory Committee here as well, and about eventually putting cottages like on certain production
stays.
farm stays, just so that, so it's about everything about giving the farmers the opportunity to financially survive.
These are being done all over the country too.
Yeah.
I've seen them done like out in Colorado and whatnot. They've had different setups. They're really very attractive. That really dresses up the golf course a little bit too. It's kind of nice the way they've surrounded the course with small little residential quarters for people that are really enamored with the game of golf.
Yeah. And look, the bottom line is, if we get 36 acres of preservation out of, right now, the two golf courses, if they were to both come in, we're looking for ways to really drive the TDR program.
Yeah.
There's not going to be one silver bullet that's going to address it. It's going to come through these little, little changes here or there that are kind of just chip away at what we have left.
Yeah.
I say, can we agree to get this going and get a resolution and get it in motion?
All right, so I'll amend it. We'll change it to 1,200. We'll strike the bedroom. I'll just recirculate that in an email. If the board's okay with it, I'll then do the necessary resolution, schedule a public hearing, and we can move forward.
Okay.
Good work.
All right.
And for the record, gentlemen, sometimes 4 women go and play golf and stay at these places as well.
I've never heard of that. I could think of
You guys just kept saying, 4 guys, they stay at the same place.
Well,
Well, the girls do that
I
too.
didn't want to mention the girls that I know that do it like on a weekly basis, and you know who I'm talking
I'm
about.
a top golfer, so this is not my
Yes.
not my forte. That's about my.
Miniature golf.
yeah.
Are
Me
you,
too.
are you a top golfer?
I've dabbled. I spend a lot of time at the 19th hole at the top golf, but that's it. Alrighty.
Best hole on the course.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A lot of people are good at 19 holes.
Thanks, Greg. Okay, next up, we have matters surrounding the monthly police department report with Captain Danielle Wilsey.
Avid golfer I am.
Good.
We'll get this started. So in looking at the August 2025 police report, if you look at the year-over-year changes, we'll see that the criminal incidents have gone down approximately 25% from 2024 to 25, which in turn decreases arrests, charges, and arraignments, which should be seen with that. The only other notable change from 24 to 25, you'll see domestic incidents increased. They also increased the month over month from July to August of 25. I went back and reviewed them, and it appears as though we had some locations which had multiple within a week or two span, which we do have once in a while, but it appears as though August we had several of those locations. Sometimes it takes some time to come to resolution, and then we don't hear from them again, but there are several repeats, which is why that number appears to be a little bit higher.
Hot weather and cooped up in the house.
Yeah, so we'll review that for September to keep an eye on those trends. You also see that the simple assault number did go up in regards to that as well. The change from the offenses went from 25 to 35 from July to August, 21 of those being from domestic incidents. Total arrests in the monthly comparison went up a bit, although August appears to be a more normal number. July was a little bit low. So as an average, August was about where we normally are. We had an increase in DWIs for August. Most of the reason for that is because Labor Day weekend fell in August, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had increased patrols, we had increased checkpoints, so that led to the increase in DWIs. We did have a decrease in the number of identity theft, which is good because that normally does affect our elderly population. We try to get out there as much as we can to explain to them the dangers of giving their information over the phone, so hopefully that's part in place of why that may have decreased, but we're always trying to get that word out. For the non-criminal incidents page, I just want to correct a couple of numbers on yours. If you have the MBAs, which says 533, I didn't want anybody to think we had that much of an increase. That number should be 153. So about halfway through where it says MBA state, we didn't go from 144 to 533. That number should be 153. Just so that we have the right number there for you. The arrest by sector stayed pretty much average where we normally fall. We usually do see a higher number in the 601 sector. And then usually averaged out, 604 is usually one of the lower numbers. We had no fatal or non-fatal overdoses in the whole town in the month of August, which is great. We had no downtown violent crime. The only major crimes you can consider were 2 grand larcenies, 1 from a vehicle, 1 a scam. So really no one was injured, nothing like that, no violent crime there. We do have the list of simple assaults. You can see out of the 35, 21 of them were from domestics, which is why that number was increased. Any other questions?
No, it's always nice to see that crime is going down.
Yes.
And we thank the men and women of our wonderful Riverhead Police Department for that.
Thank you.
Part-timers on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
That was
class
good.
starting up.
Everybody's out there.
Very
Anyone
good.
else, no questions?
No.
All right, thanks, have a good day.
Have a good day.
Okay, next up, we have matters surrounding the monthly code enforcement report with Senior Investigator Downs.
Good morning, everybody.
How are you?
Good. That's right, I should have.
Oh, that's
You're
right.
So, this is the code enforcement report for August 2025. Everybody have a copy in front of them?
Yes.
Okay. New complaints, we opened 88. We continue to, open up new complaints every month. The complaints that we opened up for the month of August were things such as dangerous conditions, unsafe structures, high grass, weeds, rubbish, illicit discharges, no building permits, illegal apartments. We had 5 overcrowded house complaints that we got in August.
What is an illicit discharge?
So that's when somebody is actually maybe pumping water out onto the right of way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we get that
Draining a pool.
routinely. Yeah, draining a pool.
Move on to the town.
But believe it or not, draining a pool is exempt as long as it's dechlorinated, so it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Transient rentals, we had 3. We had zoning, use, and setback issues, combination of 8. We had 4 unregistered vehicles. Solid waste and dumping, we had 6.
Is that illegal? Is that, what's the fine on that? Is it illegal dumping on that? Or is
Yeah,
that,
those fines were raised about 2 years ago.
yeah, we went to about 1,500.
1,500, yeah. Where was I? No rental permits, 2. No certificate of occupancies, 1. Vehicles and parking complaints, we had 3. Street sidewalk obstructions, we had 2. Trespass, general complaints, 6. That's a combination. And then we had, those other noise, lighting, signs, and infestation complaints totaling 28. We still have 119 cases still open. That's from, January to date. The tickets and violations that we issued, total summonses, we had 40, and the categories were for no CO, no building permit, rubbish, weeds, rental permits, zoning violations, unregistered or inoperable vehicles, solid waste dumping, and that concludes the code aspect. As far as rental properties, we have completed 73 inspections for the month of August. We've issued 91 permits. New rental applications that were submitted in August were 65. The total revenue collected for August was $24,875. And our year-to-date revenue is $236,400. 300 would have been nice, but court legal actions, we have referred 1 matter over to the town attorney's office for potential Supreme Court.
What's going on with the parking lot at Staples?
Okay, so we had a meeting with the owner for that property, and that matter is still pending in Supreme Court. So
So they're not,
there's been some expression on his part to remediate, although we haven't seen any immediate movement yet. So
yeah, because the clock is ticking on asphalt.
yep, absolutely. But that matter is still pending in Supreme Court. It's been filed.
So at this point, it's been 2 years since we basically increased all of the rental fees, made it annual. So at this point, we've been into every rental in the town and so forth, and now we're starting like the second round, so to speak.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, we're on the second year of the program, as we required for annual inspection,
Yeah.
as opposed to biannual.
So, is the numbers of rentals going up, like, are more people deciding to legalize their rental, so to speak?
I mean, with the onset of the new software, OpenGov, we're able to track them a lot better now. So, I mean, more applicants are finding it easier to apply. And so we are seeing the numbers go up.
And we know that it's not even so much that the numbers are going up, more people are maybe coming into compliance. They're already been probably pre-existing, and
Yeah,
safest
absolutely.
thing is that you guys are getting in there, see them, and check out secondary egresses.
Yep.
Fire extinguishers, the standard, no hot plates on the bedrooms and all the other good stuff, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And like I said, with that new OpenGov software, we are tracking the inspections a lot easier. It's easier for the applicant to coordinate their inspection through the portal. So those things have helped us, greatly.
It was worth the time setting it up, right, in the long run?
Well, it was worth it, a year and a half.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Great job. Next up, we have matters surrounding monthly Justice Court report with Councilor PILO.
Eddie down.
Nothing's filled. Good afternoon. Okay, so August 2025, does everyone have a copy? Okay.
Yes.
August 2025, we were closed for 1 week in court, so that's why it's a little bit lower. But I want to draw your attention to the Human Services section. So you'll see there were quite a bit of jail sentences that were issued. One in particular, if you see there's 4 in a row that say 15 days jail. That was actually the same individual. What I did was I asked for consecutive time because we're maxed out at 15 days on violations, and he had 4. So what you can do is you could stack them, and then you can get a longer jail sentence by having them serve it consecutively.
Did the judge agree to that?
Yes, the judge did sentence to the 60 days, and the defendant agreed to it, actually, surprisingly. So that was one highlight. Also, I think I've described this in prior meetings, the jail breakouts, which is someone that has 1 or 2 priors. We get them to agree to not pick up another offense within a 6-month period or 1-year period. And if they do, they have to answer back for the original charge, as well as the additional 15 days that they'll be on the hook for. So that's a good tool to prevent people coming back all the time. It's something to keep them cognizant of, the laws.
Almost like an ACOD?
Yes, but instead they are pleading guilty, and the conditional discharge would be to give those 15 days back if they violate it. I also had an open alcohol trial that resulted in a guilty verdict. She had no priors, so it wasn't a jail sentence, it was the fine. But we have been doing quite a few trials for these justice court cases. It's really all I have. You see all the totals at the bottom. I will.
Just ask you something, I'm sorry.
Yep.
So you had a trial for open alcohol, but you're allowed to smoke marijuana?
No, so if you smoke marijuana in the zero tolerance areas, you'll get a smoking in public charge. Most people plead to those. It's a lower fine than open alcohol. Most people will plead to those without a trial. We surprisingly have had 1 or 2 trials for those in the past as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So those are accounted for as well. When I heard Investigator Downs speak about transient rentals, I am happy to say that I know that everyone, is somewhat unhappy with the fines that are associated with that. The max fine for the $3,100 for the transient rental. But I will say, we had someone plead, pay the max fine, agree to conditional discharge not to do it again. Code enforcement was right out there. They got another ticket. They pled to a max fine for that, and they had said, this isn't worth it anymore. Sometimes it's not so much the fine, it's having to come to the justice court and sit there for 3 hours on a Tuesday afternoon, especially if they don't live in Suffolk County.
Day off from work.
Yeah, so
Good point.
I know we're very fine oriented, but I just wanted to point that out, that just keeping on them and having them have to come to court has worked, and the listing was taken down. So, and I believe the house is now up for sale. So, little things like that I think are important to point out. So, yeah.
Ms. Barlow, could you give us an update on the house in Wading River, what's happening?
Sure. I am going to Supreme Court tomorrow on that. And so basically it is me asking the judge to make a more specific decision on the fact that they have clearly violated the order from both the appellate division and the Supreme Court. So now it's a higher level to which the judge can order more specific relief. And in the interim, while this was pending, while we were trying to get this put back onto the Supreme Court calendar, I've been working very closely with Investigator Buckner. She's been taking pictures. I've been, uploading those to the pending case, showing, the clear disregard for both of the orders. So I will be making arguments based on that with all of the photos and the exhibits tomorrow, and you'll be the first person I report back to when I get back.
Can I be the second?
Sure, yeah.
We were seeking fines per day in violation as
Yeah,
well.
so that's generally what will happen when there's a civil contempt of that. The judge will determine the fines per day that they've been in violation.
What was the issue with the language? That was, I gather it was ambiguous, that you're looking for more clarification, so what was wrong with the initial contempt order?
So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just when we show the judge that they aren't following the order, now the judge will make can take it to the next level and order more specific things, such as if they're found in civil contempt, I don't think this would happen, but they could be in prison, they could, like you said, the daily fines.
Right.
So usually the first order, you hope that they're going to do the right thing and get out within a day or two of that order, and now there's just another layer of an order from a judge.
Somebody advised me that it was an attorney who knew about these types of situations, said notifying Department of Social Services as to the checks to the individuals that go there.
Yeah.
If they're in an illegal setting, can we notify them and stop the payment on those?
So I'll bring that up as well.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, it is on for tomorrow.
This is the guy with about 21 homes between Nassau and Suffolk County.
That's what he reported when he was in court.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's make it 20.
Yeah, exactly. So I will keep everyone updated on what happens tomorrow.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
Yep, no problem.
Have a good day. Okay, the last matter we have for open session is matters surrounding the monthly town clerk report with Town Clerk Jim Wooten. How are you, Jim?
Busy morning this morning, finishing up from the town board meeting. It's been a pretty steady August, actually, with the start of hunting season, so we've got a lot of hunting licenses come in. Nothing out of the ordinary. 25 births last month, 39 deaths, so we're behind on that, so we're not quite backfilling as we should. Now with the recent, we made a decision, or at least I'd like to talk to you about the decision we talked about this morning was with the fact that Diane is no longer the town board coordinator. I'd like to take over the invocation calendar. I have a relationship with Rivet Clergy Council, so I think it would be easier for me to go ahead and create that calendar now that Diane's not here to make sure we have somebody, for the have invocation done.
That would be appreciated. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I'll run the calendar for the rest of the year.
Okay.
And then we'll see what happens.
Thank
That's
you.
But respectfully, I don't want Reverend Wooten on every single town.
Yeah.
No, although I do have a staple different ones, I get it. Neither do I, to be honest with you.
You do a great job. Thank you for when you
And
fill in.
the other thing that we're discussing with the town attorney and with the town attorney's office is right now with building permits, a lot of, even a simple building permit just to build a shed or to put a deck in, you need notarized signatures, and nobody knows why that is. I think that goes way back. So I'm looking for an opinion on that. So I reached out to Dawn and Eric and Karen, and we're going to discuss that, because it's hard to find a notary sometimes. When Carol's out, we gotta chase people all over this building, whether it's Dion up in personnel, or maybe Karen Ochogrosso, or sometimes there's not even a notary around. So I'm wondering why is that even needed, to have a notarized signature on a building permit? We're looking to see if that's something that maybe we could just like forgo, just to take the pressure off my offices. We could be.
Or can somebody just show you their ID and you sign as a witness?
I mean, if you got an ID and you sign in front of it's, as long as you can prove who you are. So we're looking at to maybe curb that a little bit, because it is a lot of pressure in our office. We get tied up at the end of the month, we're doing things, and then Carol's got to jump up to notarize something. So, and then the people get upset when Carol's not there. Oh, geez, I got sent down here. And it is what it is, but we'll deal with that.
Yeah, can't you just have a section, they present photo ID and you write down what photo ID they presented and,
Or take a copy,
better than a notary.
copy their license and staple it to the application.
Right.
That's what we do when you come in for a birth certificate or whatever. We copy your license and staple it to it. But that's it. We're having a fun time with the new website today. We posted, of course, the public hearing that we're going to do in October. We're redesigning the Town Clerk website. Right after I posted the public hearing for, I guess, the Zenith building, I went to look for it. I said, let me go look. What? I couldn't find it. I said, where the heck? No, I figured you had to go to calendar, and then you got to view all calendar, and then you got to go to October just to find this public hearing. I said, there are people that care about public hearings, that they'll look through and say, what kind of public hearings are coming up, to see if it's something that concerns them. So we'll talk to Chip, so I'm going to have that redesigned so that on the Town Clerk page, it's going to be quite obvious. So it was kind of arduous to try to find it. So we're trying to make an easier segue for the public to go ahead and find out what they're looking for, whether it's a yard sale or whether it's...
Yeah, that should be under the, I like the how do I find,
Right, and that's where we're putting it.
and that's where, you click on that and that will pop up.
That's exactly where.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and then it's going to be also a drop down on the Town Clerk page on the left side if you need it. Good. But that's it. You guys doing a good job?
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I like that. Full tie already, huh?
We are.
Before I close up work session, does anybody have any announcements you want to make to reiterate anything from last night? I have a couple here.
I would just like to say that it is halfway to St. Patrick's Day today.
Yeah. And there'll be a practice parade next week. Yeah, just East End Arts again. Yeah, this is this weekend, and I would suggest people come down.
Okay.
I really actually do have something to say. Halloween Fest is going to be on October 25th. There'll be more details to come, but I'm excited about it. And Main Street Agency is going to be running that for us, so we're hoping for success, just like Live on 25.
Very good.
And I'm excited.
Very
We'll
good.
be
That's
here
a
before
fun.
we know it.
That is definitely a fun. You have any announcements?
I guess we could reiterate again RVAC for October 18th. And so we got some great event. Family, friends, come on down, support RVAC and see the new plans and get a lawn sign and make a donation to show support. These are the very individuals that save your lives every day.
Very good. Saturday, September 20th, Racetrack Knott Street from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. And Sunday, September 21st, Drag and Go-Karts, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that's all up at the 7,000-foot runway at EPCOW. All right, with that, I'd like to make a motion to close work session and
Go back into exec session.
we're done. After the meeting, yes. Motion to close open session,
So moved.
work session?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, work session is closed. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.